Welcome to another episode of Nac Edition. I'm your host, Elena Barnes. Stick around for some upcoming news and events, an interview with Micah Taylor where she teaches us how to make Easter-themed candles, as well as a peaceful and informational segment all about yoga. Nac Edition starts right now. SFA music students are looking forward to bringing you some great music this spring as they present the Evolution of Chamber Winds concert at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, April 1st. The concert will be held virtually. According to SFA Director of Bands, Dr. David Campo, the performance will feature chamber music from the 18th through the 21st centuries by the likes of Mozart, Charles Gounod, Walter Hartley, Jean-Denis Michaud, and Andy Akio. The Evolution of Chamber Winds concert will celebrate how the chamber music works have changed over time and will also include guest performances by SFA Professor of Saxophone Dr. Nathan Knabb and guitarist Brandon Coleman. To access the live virtual concert free of charge, visit music.sfasu.edu the night of the performance on Thursday, April 1st at 7:30 p.m. For additional information, contact the SFA School of Music. The Brick Street Blues Band are back in Nacogdoches this weekend to perform live blues, soul, and rock and roll at the Mill Room connected to Bonita Creek Hall. A concert that was originally scheduled in January was postponed to this Friday, April 3rd. The Brick Street Blues Band is an authentic blues cover band from right here in East Texas. The Blues Band is excited to showcase their upgraded show with new songs, additional musicians, and additional instruments. This is a ticketed event with limited seating, and tickets are being sold in advance for $12 and at the door for $15. You can find tickets on the Brick Street Blues Band website, brickstreetbluesband.com/schedule. Doors open at 7:30 p.m. and the show starts at 8. The Mill Room is connected to Bonita Creek Hall at 401 West Main Street. For more information about the Brick Street Blues Band, you can visit their website and join their mailing list to receive emails and newsletters packed with exclusive photos, news, and upcoming performances. If you are looking for a fun activity to do with your friends tonight, you are just in luck. A drive-in movie is being set up here at SFA, and the movie selection is sure to please. The Student Activities Association, or SAA, is hosting Drive-In with the Jacks tonight, March 31st, from 7 to 9 in the commuter lot. The commuter lot is located at the corner of East College Street and University Drive, directly across the street from the William R. Johnson Coliseum. The event is free and everyone is welcome. The movie selection for this evening is the 1978 musical romance Grease, starring John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, and Stockard Channing. The musical is filled with classic show tunes like Hopelessly Devoted to You, Grease Lightning, and Summer Nights. SAA will be handing out free popcorn, candy, and water for all. Be sure to check out Drive-In with the Jacks. You won't want to miss it. For more information on SAA, you can check out their Twitter at SAA_1923. Nacogdoches is excited to have a fellow friend, SFA librarian Morgan Briles, take part in NBC's hit game show Jeopardy! Here's Josh Good with the story.
SFA students and local game show gurus might be surprised to learn that one of their very own librarians here at the Steen Library appeared on the popular game show Jeopardy! Not only that, but what she calls an unforgettable experience came away with some cool cash. 28-year-old Morgan Briles, the digital repository librarian at SFA's Steen Library, has always been a fan of Jeopardy!
We're a Jeopardy family. My parents and brother all still watch it together and try to test each other, like, did you know today's Final Jeopardy?
Briles decided to do what any rational fan would do, pursue a lifelong goal.
A few years ago, I decided that, I'd like to be on Jeopardy sometime before I die, that'd be good, a lofty goal.
And after an extensive testing process, she made that goal a reality.
And then they called me a couple weeks later and said, we want you on.
To get ready for her appearance on the show, she would sit down and watch old Jeopardy reruns.
They have old games on Netflix and Hulu and YouTube. And so I think being familiar with how the clues are worded was really helpful.
While appearing on such a popular show was an incredible experience, there was little time for Briles to stop and admire her surroundings.
Playing the game, I think I spent a lot of time just very focused on answering the questions and buzzing in There's not a lot of time to step back and be like, oh, wow, I'm on Jeopardy. This is so cool. You're very focused.
But after finishing her time on the show with a winnings amount of $38,200, she was able to step back and take in the coolest thing to ever happen to her.
But, after I won my first game, I definitely was like, wow, I just won on Jeopardy. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. I'm a champion, So, yeah, I think it's after you kind of step back from the podium, then you can really feel the awesomeness of it.
While she's glad to be back in the day-to-day work of a librarian, her success on Jeopardy is something she'll never forget.
There will be a new addition to the SFA administration this summer. Stephen F. Austin State University has hired a new provost. It was announced earlier this month that Dr. Lorenzo Smith will serve as SFA's new executive vice president. Dr. Smith currently serves as a professor and dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science at California State University in Sacramento, California. Prior to that, Dr. Smith has a background as an associate dean at Oakland University in the early 2000s. President Gordon had high praises of Dr. Smith, stating that he is a visionary and a proven leader. In 2019, Dr. Smith served as a founding chair for California State University's Engineering Dean's Council and also served as president of the board of directors of the Oakland Youth Orchestra. Dr. Smith will succeed the current executive vice president from Dr. Steve Bullard, who announced his plans to retire from the university. Dr. Smith will start the position on June 1st. After passing the one-year mark of the onset COVID-19 pandemic, it's finally starting to feel like the beginning of the end. With the rapid deployment of the Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines, herd immunity is becoming a realistic goal every day. Providers are now administering about 2.68 million doses per day. This means that opportunities for vaccinations are continuing to become more available locally. Right now, Nacogdoches residents can be vaccinated at clinics like East Texas Community Health or even the local Walmart neighborhood market by appointment. For Texans who have been waiting, Texas opened vaccinations to all adults on March 29th. Students and faculty looking to get vaccinated are getting the opportunity to do so today, thanks to a vaccination clinic set up by SFA in partnership with the Nacogdoches Medical Center and Nacogdoches Memorial Hospital. 1,100 Moderna vaccines are planned to be administered today. Experts aren't yet clear on when the country might reach herd immunity, but the increasing availability of vaccines is playing an important role in ensuring it happens sooner rather than later. Easter weekend is just around the corner. Millard's Crossing Historic Village is hosting an Easter egg hunt all week. Lindsay Wood is here to give us a better look.
I am Lindsay Wood here at the Millard's Crossing Easter Scavenger Hunt. This event started on March 28th and will continue until Easter Sunday, April 4th.
To start off your day, you would go to their general store and grab a map. You then adventure around their historic village anytime from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The point of the scavenger hunt, besides the obvious of celebrating Easter, is to find certain colored Easter eggs hidden in the windows of all the different structures. There are several buildings to adventure through and learn more about while you search for your eggs. On top of this scavenger hunt, there are painted rocks hidden for you to find, take, and leave somewhere else in Nacogdoches for somebody else to find. Finally, from 1 to 4 p.m. this week, the Easter Bunny will be hopping around to take socially distanced pictures with whoever wants one. After you have finished the scavenger hunt, you will realize you have made a big circle. You can now head straight back to the general store to claim your prize for some Easter sweets. The admissions for this event is $5 a person, and the proceeds will go to programs and operations in the village. For more information on this Easter egg scavenger hunt, you can call 936-564-6631.
Stay with us after the break, where we get a fun and quick lesson on how to make festive candles for this Easter weekend. Welcome back to Nac Edition. In the studio with us today, we have Micah Taylor, who will show us an excellent activity on how to make Easter candles for this Easter Sunday. Micah, thank you so much for coming to the studio today to show us how to make some Easter candles.
Thanks for having me, Elena.
All right, so to get things started, what are the supplies that people are going to need to get in order to make these candles?
Absolutely. So you'll need a hot plate, a pot of boiling water, a glass measuring cup, a mason jar, some organic soy wax, as well as fragrances, and then you can get all of this from places like Amazon.
All right, so let's go ahead and discuss step one. How do we get things started?
Awesome. So what you'll do is you'll put the wax into your measuring cup whenever your water is boiling. You'll also need something like a wooden stirrer. That way you won't have to worry about it clumping, and you'll help the melting process. And then after that, if you want color, you can put something like a Crayola in and just break it apart to help with the melting process.
I got to choose what color I wanted, and I chose pink because I love the color pink. So what do we do for step two after all of this is melted?
Yes, once all of it's melted, then you get to choose your fragrance. And in front of us, you can see we have a bunch of fragrances. And so whatever you're feeling, you put in.
Okay, so what kind of fragrances do we have here today? I want to make sure I choose wisely.
Oh yeah, the ones in the middle are going to be your seasonal fall smells, like a pine or a wood smell, but the ones on the opposite sides, you get more of the spring smells over here, like lemon and grapefruit, and then the ones over here, you're going to get the summer smells.
Okay, summer or spring? All right, Easter falls in spring, so I'll go with a spring smell. You said grapefruit.
Yeah.
So let's go with grapefruit.
Perfect. So if you want to pour it in, you can.
Okay.
You'll just take the lid off, and then because it's an essential oil, it's going to kind of drop out, so you just got to find where it'll start coming out.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes.
And
How
so
many drops do I do?
Usually it'll take about 20, maybe 30 drops, depending on how strong you're wanting this.
I'm not counting, so let's.
That's okay. If you stir it and waft it, you can kind of get the sense of how much the progress is going on.
There we go. I think that's good. That
Perfect.
smells pretty strong.
It smells fantastic.
It smells very nice. Okay, so grapefruit smell. So what do we do after we put the smells in? So it's still melting?
Yes, so once you're pleased with the smell and the consistency of the melted wax, you're going to take something like one of these sticky pads here, and you're going to put your wax stick here on the wax pad, peel it off, and then you're going to put it at the center of your mason jar. That way, whenever you pour in the wax, the stick is in the middle of your mason jar.
Okay. So is it time to pour yet? It looks pretty melted, or?
Yeah, it looks really melted. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out our stick, and we're going to grab our cloth here. That way we don't burn ourselves.
Yeah, don't want to do that.
No. And you're going to tilt the mason jar. That way, whenever you're pouring in the wax, it doesn't rip up the adhesiveness. Just like so, and then you start pouring it over.
Nice.
Yeah. And so,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, you're fine. And this is just basically how you make a candle.
Okay, so how long does it take to soak up or dry?
It takes about an hour for it to start to solidify, and you can tell it's starting to solidify because the bottom of the wax will cool down as the layers of it start to harden.
Okay. So now that we know the steps of how to make the candle, let's go ahead and start talking a little background. So what made you want to start making these candles?
Absolutely. My mom showed me how to do this over a Thanksgiving break, and I thought this was really creative. And I'm the president of an organization here on campus, and I was like, this would be a great way to fundraise money. And so my organization just sold these candles the other day, and it went really well.
What organization are you part of?
It's called Allied Health Student Association. It's a pre-health organization that caters to pre-med, nursing, research, anybody really in the medical world.
So can you also make some fun shapes and designs with the candles?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you pour the waxes in layers, you can get different colors. If we were to put in a blue Crayola and swirl it, we could kind of get like a tie-dye swirl effect. So you can really do a lot with these.
Cool. So do you have any other fun Easter activities that you usually do with your family or friends, or any other crafty designs that you normally do?
Yeah, I like to paint sometimes during the Easter holidays or go to the park and hang out with my friends, like play tennis. That's a good thing to do whenever the weather's nice.
Sweet. So how can your viewers make this a fun, easy Easter activity?
Yeah, basically all you need is just the equipment and supplies we have in front of us today. Super safe, super easy to do, and like you can get these supplies off Amazon, Walmart, or even Hobby Lobby. They have the fragrances there.
Okay, so are there other mason jars, like other sizes?
Yeah, my mom took one of the like very big flower pots and put a whole bunch of wax in there, and put like mahogany teakwood, that famous like Bath and Body Works fragrance, in there. So it smells so good. You can put it in anything.
So you guys, or you mentioned that you sold these for a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about maybe selling them online somewhere?
No, but that's a good idea. I tried to convince my group to sell soap, but they liked the idea of candles a lot more.
Yeah, candles. This is more interesting. No, soap. Making soap sounds fun too. But yeah, so after the break, we will come back and learn all about the wonders of yoga and how you can incorporate it into your daily lives. Stick around. If you are just now joining us, we're going to discuss how everyone could use a bit of relaxation throughout their lives. Hooligan Counseling and Wellness is a great place to familiarize yourself and get started. Here's Kelsey Newton with some more information.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey Newton, and today I'm at Hooligan Counseling and Wellness with Sindra Krogan-Morton. Thank you for joining me, Sindra.
My pleasure, Kelsey. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Every week, Sindra hosts multiple yoga classes here, such as midweek mindful yoga, therapeutic yoga, and Feel Good Friday yoga. Today, she's going to teach us a little bit about those classes, as well as the benefits of yoga, all while demonstrating some things you could expect to learn if you join her for a class. Can we start off with a simple pose while you tell us a little bit more about those classes?
Absolutely, Kelsey. So we're going to go ahead and come into what we call a low lunge or Anjayanasana. And so what you'll do is take your blocks. They're going to eventually end up under your shoulders. Bring your left foot forward. I'll bring my right and we'll mirror. And then just allow that foot to scooch forward as you bend toward the front of the mat to get a stretch at the top of that right thigh. How's that feeling?
Good.
Good. So this is nice to mitigate some of that hip flexor tightness that we get from sitting so much. So I teach 3 classes here. Midweek Mindful happens on Wednesday evenings. It tends to be a little bit more of a vigorous class. I have a lot of athletes in that class and they like a little challenge once in a while. I'm also teaching Feel Good Friday. Feel Good Friday is a little bit more of a gentle class. So I've developed that as a way for people to just kind of have a nice way to transition into the weekend after maybe a stressful work week. And then we'll be introducing Saturday morning classes starting in April. Those will be at 9:30, and those will be a nice mix of both. So depending on what people want to do, I'm obviously open to requests, but we'll make sure people get a lot out of that. Okay. You want to switch sides?
Yes.
Great.
And then speaking of athletes joining you for yoga, how does other forms of exercise compare to yoga?
Yes, well, there's kind of 3 main forms of exercise. We have strength training, cardio, and flexibility. Cardio tends to get a person's heart rate up, usually to about 70 to 85% of their max heart rate. Yoga, for the most part, will not do that. There might be some classes that will do that, but they're pretty rare. Okay. So we tend to maintain kind of a lower heartbeat so we don't get that cardiovascular fitness. As far as strength training goes, though, we use the body's body weight to help people get a little bit stronger. So I'll show you a pose that'll help you do that real quick.
Okay.
We're going to come into a plank pose, so the top of a push-up. Keep the knees on the mat and just bring those arms forward. So you might notice that you're using the strength in your arms to stay up here. And so we do get a lot of strength benefit from doing yoga by using the body's weight. And then obviously yoga is well known for the flexibility aspect. So we can help people lengthen their muscles and get a little bit less tight.
Okay, and then personally, I'm not very flexible at all. So how important is flexibility when you're practicing yoga?
Not important at all. So let's go ahead and change poses and I'll talk to you about that. So you're gonna bring your knee forward. We're gonna come into what's called easy pose or Sukhasana, and it is not very easy for a lot of people.
Okay.
So we're just sitting like crisscross applesauce, but a lot of us tend not to do this in our adult lives. So even just sitting like this on the floor can help a person begin to get more space and room in their hips, which can help with lower back pain and things like that. Here's what I want everybody to know. You don't have to be flexible to take yoga. In fact, yoga will help you become more flexible. So if you consider yourself not flexible, please come to one of our classes. Ari, who teaches the therapeutic yoga classes, and I are happy to work with anybody, regardless of their level of flexibility or experience with yoga, to help them feel better about themselves.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. That's all the time that we have for today. But do you have any closing remarks that you want to share with our viewers?
Just that the first class at Whole Again is free, and so I would encourage anyone who is the least bit curious about yoga to come on down and try one of our classes. We would love to see you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sindra, for joining us. Thank you. Namaste. For Nac Edition, I'm Kelsey Newton. Back to you, Elena.
Thanks so much, Kelsey. If you want more information about Whole Again Counseling and Wellness, you can check out their website at wholeagaincw.com. Don't forget that tomorrow is April 1st, and it's the unofficial official holiday dedicated to lighthearted, silly jokes and pranks. Most people only know April Fools as the day to prank your friends, but what they don't know is the origin and history behind the day at all. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII ordered a new and improved Gregorian calendar to replace the old Julian calendar. The new calendar called for New Year's Day to be celebrated on January 1st. In France, people originally celebrated New Year's Day on April 1st. At the time of the calendar change, many people did not learn or refused to believe that New Year's Day was now in January, and they continued to celebrate in April. People began to make fun of these traditionalists, resulting in what we now know as April Fool's Day. Make sure to pull a prank on your family and friends to celebrate April Fools, and while you're at it, you can tell them a little bit about the history as well. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Nac Edition. I'm your host, Elena Barnes, and I'll see you next time.